the text says, not what I believe. I want to see what the Bible says. Because when you read literal
Talking about Jesus Christ being God,
that's what I'm just saying. That's what I'm just trying to find out. What Jesus said himself, I'm God.
So he said when
I gave you a
one of the
verse
disciples
where it
asked him,
clearly shows Jesus was not a God. And you were showing me a verse that...
So the verse you gave was, Jesus Christ says to his Father, I'm going to my Father.
Not only that, I said Acts 2, chapter 2, verse 22. Clearly stated. It says, listen to this. It's exact. I can't tell you exact word. It goes like this. The people of Israelite.
Can I just?
Of course,
yeah. The verse actually says, "Hear, O Israel, Jesus of Nazareth, a man approved of God by miracles, wonders, and signs, which God did through him, as you already know."
Yes, indeed.
when one of the disciples of Jesus asked him, "Show me the Father," Jesus answered, "Why you ask me, show me the Father? I'm here so long time with you." You know?
But it doesn't mean that he was a God.
But he emptied himself by taking the form of servant, being born in the likeness of the man, and being found in human form, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death, even the death on the cross.
What does it mean? It doesn't mean that I'm
Empty
God.
himself. He was God, but he had to empty himself. As me, as a son of God, because I'm not a
Are you
slave.
talking about the resurrection?
Sorry.
Are you talking about the resurrection that empty himself? There is 500 angels
No,
that
I'm not
resurrected in
talking
Old
about-
Testament.
I'm
It's
talking
nothing
about-
special in Bible. There's 500 angels, 500 people that did, they resurrected themselves.
Okay, so, no way. So, these angels, is there anything special about them?
No, if you're talking about the emptying the tomb, there's nothing
Because in
special.
the Old Testament, there's a
No,
specific
empty is-
angel, a capital.
This is not about emptying the tomb.
No, I think.
It's about us.
Sorry, can I think, brother, sister, what he is asking is, are you able to show one verse in the Bible which clearly says Jesus is God, or Jesus says worship me as God? My name is Shabir.
Seen on YouTube.
Yeah, you probably have.
So that means
That's what I'm
you.
saying.
So that means you have four people.
In these words,
should have
I'm
had
God,
many Christian
worship
scholars
me
who have come up to
with
you
these words that I'm telling.
Sorry?
Even if
So
he
you-
said like
so
this,
knowing that you're quite
people
famous
will
and
not
obviously
believe
you're-
I've never made that claim.
He said it
I've never
very
made
well.
that claim.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine. That's
And
fine.
when
I like
people-
that humility.
Yeah, no.
It's times on the Bible that people worship him. When he
Yeah.
trained to
I'm sorry, you are?
people was
My name is
worshiping
Sema.
Sema. Shabir, nice meeting you. Actually, Sema, you're absolutely right. But before you go further, as you can see, I'm not trying to interject because it would be unfair. There seems to be a standard here, and I don't want to interfere. But the verse, I just wanted him to, because he seems to have difficulty. So that's all. Otherwise, no, I won't enter into it. Don't worry about it.
And I follow you my example. I have to obey to the heel of the Father.
There's many verses. There's before
And he's my
Abraham was,
example. I
I
have to
am.
follow the
Yeah.
example
I
of
am the
Jesus.
Father one.
Because
In
for
Revelation
me, it's a
22,
perfect
22
example
verse
in the
21,
story
I
of
believe.
Trinity.
Jesus Christ himself says, I'm the Alpha and Omega.
Yeah. Well, actually, Sama, no, I can agree with you. But maybe sometimes what we have to do, look, you quoted 3 verses as an example, and I'm sure you are familiar with them. Yeah. So, for example, where you said, "I and my Father are one," it's a common statement. Yeah. Sorry?
That's why he heals.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
He makes the blind see, you know.
Sorry.
Who else?
And you know in the Bible,
Who else has made that statement? Because it's quite common.
No, what I mean by that is quite common. A lot of our Christian friends always quote it. Yeah, it's extensively quoted.
Still now, still waiting for Muslims to refute that.
Well, maybe perhaps I can try.
I'll be honest in the fact that Muslims do study the Bible more than Christians study the Quran.
Yeah.
But even when a Muslim does study the Bible, I quote out those type of scriptures to them, they don't know. But if you study the Bible, then you should have known it.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. But the way I look at it is, for example, if you just said that you haven't come across anyone who has been able to refute that statement. The way I look at it is not a question of refutations, it's a question of trying to understand what the contents are. So for example, it says I and my Father are one. It's a common one, like I said, and I have my conversations with my Christian friends about it. Yeah, and I ask them, if I were to ask you, Sema, what's the next verse?
You can do all your prayers.
Then there's Jews to pick up stones to stone him. Why did they pick
You
up
will
stones
die
to
without
stone him?
showing where you are going.
Right.
You will
I would ask
the
this.
mercy of God.
No. You see, the verse says,
That's what it says. Let's go to
Where you
it.
going?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't have my Bible.
It's the Gospel of John chapter 10 verse 30.
Amen.
You will die without showing of your salvation. What kind of water?
Come on, Google.
Yeah, no worries. As long as it works.
Yes, my data runs out.
Yeah.
The Bible says that the hell is for the
Just put
dead.
from 30 to 36.
You are creation.
Yeah. In that way you'll have the full.
Denying anything, but you're wrong. Your Bible doesn't say that. Let me tell you why your Bible says. Ezekiel chapter 18 verse 20.
So, yes.
Yeah, there we
You could
are.
read
Now, yeah, not a problem at all. You see, at verse 30, he says, I and my Father are one. And it says then, again, they picked up stones to stone him. He then responds, many good works have I shown you for my Father. For which of the good works do you stone me? They say, for a good works we stone you not, but for blasphemy. After having made yourself a man, you make yourself a God. Now, I often ask my Christian friends, look, according to the statement, he says, no one can pluck them out of my Father's hands. Verse 28, verse 29, yeah, he says, no one can pluck them out of my hands. No one can pluck them out of my Father's hands. I and my Father are one. Now, the problem here arises is when they pick up stones to stone him, they say to him, or he says to them, many a good works have I shown you. For which of the good works do you stone me? Now, the question I would ask firstly is, why has he equated them picking up stones
You don't add anything.
Glory
with
be
good
unto
works?
God.
Why?
Because he's done many things that
When
show
Adam and Eve
the world
was
that
in the
he is
paradise,
God.
there was the presence
And
of
he wants to know
God.
which one.
But when
So
they
he wants
talking
not out of
about the
curiosity.
camel.
He's not refuting
Talking
that
about
he's got
sin.
himself by saying that. He's just
Right.
out of curiosity to see if they know
Okay.
why they're stealing him.
Okay, so right, so you are saying that when he says many a good works have I shown you from the Father, for which of the good works do you stone me? You are associating good works with his divinity.
Jesus died for me. What is the
Good works equals divinity. But then now you have to look into what he's done.
I'm talking about that, but in this context here,
This context.
he says that, and then they said to him, for a good works we stone you not, but for blasphemy.
Okay.
After being a man, you make yourself a God. Now, if you look at the phrases, there's a turn.
So when you look at that alone, that shows obviously that Jesus Christ is divinity, right?
No, I'm saying you will find in the next, no problem. No, it's not about admitting. Like I said, if we look at the evidence, you will have to now tell me that when they made the claim against him, according to you, Jesus should have agreed, yes, I am committing blasphemy, because although I'm a man, I'm also God. Is that correct?
So so Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm right.
Hello, I'm fine, you
We're
okay?
just discussing
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
we have to ask for
10 verse 30.
So when it says I'm a father one,
Yes.
then it says that Jesus took stones to stone him, and obviously
Yeah, so I'm asking,
after it says for what you actually
your will?
your will, the will of the Father.
for which of the good works do you stone me? And they said, for a good works we stone you not, but for blasphemy, after making yourself a man. What I'm asking,
What does blasphemy mean?
exactly, good question. According to my definition, it should be according to the Jews' definition, otherwise they would not accuse him. Otherwise they would not accuse him. So what was the law of blasphemy?
What is
Very
blasphemy?
well.
When you associate partners with the Creator.
According to, let's go to Leviticus 17.
Good,
Leviticus.
excellent. Which one?
You stone for when you call someone God, that is not God.
Jesus said,
Yeah.
When you, like you're saying,
Yes,
so says in some-
absolutely.
So by Jesus,
resurrection and the life.
I am my
I
Father.
showed you a very clear
Then they pick up
verse.
stone.
Every day,
Which is stoning is the repercussion for blasphemy. So they were accusing Jesus of saying, you are God, but you're not God.
Maria.
You know what I
Agreed.
mean? So So there we go. That's the proof that Jesus was claiming to be God. Because they didn't know that he was God, they thought that was blasphemy.
Right, okay. So I agree. In fact, I agree with what you are saying. You see, according to them, he was committing blasphemy. According to the statement,
But if he wasn't saying that he's God, by him saying,
I and my Father are one.
if that's not him saying that he's God, then what's the blasphemy about that?
Right, but before you go there, the question is this. Do you accept that when he made that statement, he was referring to his divinity? Is that what you are saying?
And he put there the lamb, right? And you take
Yeah, sure.
Abraham.
It's chapter 10, verse 30 of John.
No, this is not make any sense. Why I will sacrifice my son, God? He don't question God. He trusts in him, and he put there the son, and God stopped
Yeah.
and put the lamb, and Jesus is the lamb.
Maria, can I tell you something? I know you're very passionate.
Because,
Oh dear.
I'm sorry.
You're believing.
Because God, Jesus, God,
Passion.
when I say Jesus, I say God.
Have you got it?
You believe. I'm not denying
Yeah,
that.
now basically, you see, the question before you came, we are just discussing with the brother, is the fact that the conversation that he's having with them actually starts at verse 23 of chapter 10.
I respect that.
Yeah?
No,
He-
you're very passionate about that.
That's where this conversation starts. Yeah? And where they come to him and they tell him, that, hey, look, if you are the Christ, tell us plainly.
Nowhere.
And he goes on to tell them, he says, look, I have done many things, yeah. My sheep who know me follow me, yeah. He goes on to say that, look, the ones
I'm so long.
the ones
Okay, so you guys are recording him, isn't it?
are you recording him? Don't record him. Yeah? Okay. Yeah? Basically. Yeah. By all means, not to worry. Yeah? No, he's fine. He's taken you off. He's taken you off. Yeah? Yeah, no worries. Yeah? Now, it starts there and he is telling them, my sheep hear me. Yeah? My sheep know me, my sheep hear me and they follow me. Yeah? He says, no one can pluck them out of my hands. No one can pluck them out of my Father's hands. What is he saying? When he says no one can pluck them out of my hands and no one can pluck them out of my Father's hands, what is he saying?
So what's the point? What is, so are you saying,
Apart from being two separate.
What's the point of this conversation? My understanding of this conversation, and I don't want us to be
No problem.
about
Separate places.
Why would we be beating about the bush exactly? Sorry, sister. What is your name?
Just call me sister. Call me sister.
Why are you so terrified of giving your name? He gave me his name straight away. What is it?
Do you remember my name?
Yeah?
What's my name?
Sema.
Yeah, just call
Do you
me
remember mine? Good, there you are. What's the problem with you giving us your name?
sister. I don't
Why? Hey?
want to give my name on
He's the
camera.
guy.
Sorry?
I don't want to give my name on camera.
Okay, no worries. No, I appreciate that. And I respect that. I will call you sister. Yeah? Wait, basically sister, what we...
When Jesus said, I am my Father one,
Yes.
yeah, is he referring to himself as God, or anywhere in Scripture does he refer to himself as God? And the simple point is the fact that when Jesus says in John 10:30, I am my Father one, they pick up stones to stone him and say, and he asks, what good works are you stoning me for? And he says, blasphemy. That is proof, one of many proofs. If you look at the different situations where the Jews are picking up stones to stone Jesus, the same way in John 5:18, and he calls himself the Son of God, and they said, you calling yourself the Son of God, you make yourself equal to God, and they pick up stones to stone him. The same thing John 8:58, where Jesus says, Ego Aimi. You know, before Abraham I was. What do? They pick up stones to stone him. So that is proof. At least the Jews at that time understood it to be that Jesus is claiming to be God. You know, his early disciples understood it to be that Jesus is claiming to God. So why then should we now reject all that, reject all scriptures, reject our early fathers, and then start believing in Islam to say that Jesus wasn't God? The simple point is that he claimed to, no matter how you want to beat about the bush, the scripture is clear.
Well, I would respectfully suggest to you, as we are just talking about this, respectfully suggest to you that I make a distinction between the evidence and what one believes. Okay, and that distinction I keep it separate. What you believe you are entitled to, and I'm not going to argue on your belief point, because people can believe in trees as their God. It doesn't make it God, does it? Yeah. But what I would say is, if we look at the evidence. So, for example, where it says, and you rightly pointed out, well, it seems like it's proof. I would suggest no, it's not proof. It is evidence that needs to be assessed and established whether it actually leads to proof. It is not proof itself. But what we were basically discussing was, because the conversation was about where did Jesus say he was God? Yeah, so we were using this. Yeah, but going on what you are saying, without beating about the bush, you are also making the admission explicitly that there is no statement in the Bible where Jesus claims to be God. Without beating about the bush.
What do you mean?
Right, excellent. That is exactly the reason why it is so important.
So what do you mean by that? What do you mean by saying that I'm making a statement? That there's
No, I'm saying that look, there is.
To be more explicit, do you want? Is that what you're asking for?
No.
No, the statement that she made, she's saying that that's her belief, that's Jesus giving evidence that he's God.
It's not
Yeah.
my belief, it's not my belief.
But he can say, your statement actually says that Jesus is actually making a statement that he's not God, because the statements don't say he's God.
Precisely. Now,
How do you believe
Oh,
it?
so I understand. So you're saying
Basically,
that
the
it needs-
evidence-
So, for example, you need an exact. My understanding from speaking to others, you need there's no exact statement where Jesus says, "I am God, worship me." Is that what you mean?
That's exactly what I'm saying. But why am I saying it? Because if the evidence that you are referring to can be interpreted more than one way, then it is not explicit, is it?
Okay, so
Do you accept the point?
no, so
You don't accept that it's not explicit, it is explicit.
it is very explicit. Because
Okay.
First of all, they didn't speak
Fine.
English.
Sorry?
First of all, they didn't speak English. So are you?
I
let
agree.
Me, let me understand. So are you looking for a statement that says that translates, "I am God,
Right.
worship me"? Is that what you're
Yeah, right. No.
for us to then
No.
say that means?
I'll tell you. No. What I'm not looking for anything. Like I said, what we need to do is assess the evidence, because the evidence which you have referred to, I'm saying, can be interpreted in more than one way. Well, that leads to the conclusion.
What
If
other
I can, well, I'm just coming to that. You see, if we can come to the conclusion that it can be interpreted more than one way, then it automatically leads to the second conclusion that there is no explicit statement in the Bible confirming his divinity. It's quite logical. So if I go on the first point,
I need to understand. When you say there's no explicit statement in the Bible that confirms Jesus' divinity, what do you
right,
mean?
no, I didn't go there. Actually, if you listen to me carefully, I said,
I need to understand what that
no
means.
problem.
Yeah.
I said if the verses you are referring to can be interpreted in more than one way, then it is an admission that there is no explicit statement confirming his divinity. Is that logical?
What do you mean by that? That there's no explicit statement?
No. I am saying, for example, it says, I and my Father are one.
Okay. Let me put it this way. What statement?
I think you are misunderstanding
Okay,
me.
I understand what you're
Okay, great
what
stuff.
statement would you want from the Bible to show, to prove that Jesus is God?
Let's go on that point. Let's go on that point, okay? If the Creator says, I am the Lord your God, yeah? Is there a statement like that in the Bible? I am the Lord your God.
Yeah.
I shall have no other gods before me.
Yeah.
That's an explicit statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does Jesus make a statement like that?
Right. Okay. So.
Yeah, no, yes or no?
When Jesus says, "I am the Lord your God,"
Thank you. Can I have it? Oh, sorry.
okay, so you're looking for a statement to say.
No, again, sister,
where Jesus
I
says-
am not looking. What I am saying, if you follow me through, and I'll just repeat it,
Yeah.
if the verses we are referring to can be interpreted in more than one way,
Yeah.
then by definition they are not explicit statements, are they? So what I am saying is, well, if they are not explicit
No, but
statements,
who says they can?
I am saying that if they can be interpreted more than one way.
I can
Okay,
say, I am the
one
Lord
second.
your God can be interpreted in one way. Anyone can come.
Well,
up with
if that is
statement.
the case, then let's look at the evidence, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm trying to do.
What
Assessing the evidence.
Directly, I genuinely want to know, what statement are you looking for?
I
that
just
will
said-
convince you that Jesus is God.
I just said, if there's a statement there which is subject to, according to you, according to interpretation, I am the Lord your God. Yeah?
Worship none other.
Yeah,
Like-
it's explicit. It's coming from the Creator. Or are we doubting that?
No, I'm not doubting that.
You are not doubting that. Now, equivalent statement of Jesus pronouncing, making that same statement. So the question is this, I say, going back to the verse, before we diverted, where it says, I and my Father are one, yeah? You are claiming, well, that is actual proof of his divinity. I'm saying, well, actually, respectfully, no, that is not the case. Because if we if you look at the statement per se, as the statement is, then you have to equally accept John 17 verse 21 to 22, where he says, Father, as I am in you, let them, the disciples, be in us, so that we all may be one. Now, if you are going to accept that this is claiming divinity, then you have to accept even 17, 21 and 22 is claiming divinity. But I know you will not accept that, and I would concur with you. So the question therefore arises this. Okay, so John chapter 10 verse 30, you say respectfully that it is claiming divinity. I'm saying, well, actually,
you give us time to respond.
Of course, I've always done that, and I will continue to do that. Yeah. Basically, when he said, I and my Father are one, yeah, the claim is he's claiming divinity. The counter claim is actually no, you have misunderstood it. Yeah, because he says, after, they picked up stones to stone him, because he is telling them right through from verse 23, all he is discussing is good works. Yeah, all the good works that they are doing. My sheep follow me, no one can pluck them out of my hands, no one can pluck them out of my Father's hands. Then comes that crucial statement, I and my Father are one. Now, in conjunction with 17, 21 and 22, where it says all of us are one, yeah, can be read together and it won't make sense. But if you go further, it clarifies it for you. Because when they picked up stones, he continued with the good works narrative. He said, many good works have I shown you from the Father. For which of the good works do you stone me? For a good works we stone you not, but for blasphemy. For after having been a man, well, we've already discussed that. After making yourself a man, you are making yourself a God.
Right.
He then turns.
So they understood it to be that he was claiming to be God.
No, they understood it that he is claiming some kind of blasphemy.
No, he said,
that's what the word says.
No. So if you look at you yourself, as a man, you're making yourself equal to God.
Yeah, is that blasphemy?
What else does that mean? Of course that's blasphemy.
Right, okay.
If he's not God, then that's
okay.
blasphemy.
Excellent. Let's follow your narrative.
So can I respond to
Of
you?
course.
So the first thing I do want to address, because it sounds to me that you're looking for an explicit statement, like you just said. Let me just finish my point. So you just said where Yahweh says, I am the Lord your God, worship none other than me. So if you have a statement like that, that means that is clear without misinterpretation, then that means that Jesus is God. But I will challenge that in the sense that I will say, for example, you believe Jesus is the Messiah as a Muslim. Do you have any explicit statements in the Quran that say where Jesus says, I am the Messiah, or where Jesus says, I am not God, don't worship me?
Yes.
So where does Jesus himself say, I am the Messiah?
Right. So.
Okay,
So Maryam, there's a good English. He says, I am the slave of Allah, I've been sent to you with the kitab. And this is when he was a baby, he spoke as a baby.
So he says, I'm the Messiah, I'm the Messiah.
Messiah, no, he says, I'm
no, so I'm asking for a statement where Jesus says, I am the Messiah.
Give me 1 second, I'll get that for you.
Can I? Yeah, while you are doing that, and before you take.
There's no statement, but
right, but sis, before you go further, yeah, this is what is happening here. I want to know, before we move on to the Quran and the statements within the Quran, which I have no problem with, yeah, let's try and restrict ourselves to what we are trying to discuss.
Yes.
Okay, well, because I hadn't actually finished before you said, look, can I just...
You were talking for a long time. Unless you
well,
were time
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the point I'm trying to make is that you can't, the criteria of specific, you're not going to, specific statements, for example, where if you're saying that, if Jesus made a specific statement that you understand as a specific statement, that means he's God, and if he doesn't, that means he's not God. Therefore, based on that criteria, you have to reject Jesus being Messiah, because there's nowhere in the Quran where Jesus says, I am the Messiah. There's nowhere in the Bible where Jesus says, I am not God, don't worship me. So I can use that.
Excellent.
I can come and say, based
No
on
problem,
that,
I have no
can
problem.
say, oh, because Jesus doesn't say, I am not God, don't worship me, that means he's God.
No problem.
It doesn't work specific like that,
Okay.
in a lot of ways.
Okay.
There's no specific, do you see
Fine,
what I mean?
fine.
So let's throw that exact word out of the window. Wait. I'll
Sorry, tell me
based
when
on
you are
that,
finished. Yeah, okay.
Because if you're consistent, you have to reject a lot of beliefs. Yeah. So if you're
respectfully, that's an opinion yet, because I haven't had an opportunity to respond.
Okay.
So let's not throw it out yet.
Okay,
Go ahead.
respond to where
Right,
Jesus
okay.
says, I am the Messiah.
Right, I will tell you. Number one, the comparison. No, number one, the comparison you are making here is entirely wrong. Two reasons. Reason number one, if you are going to, you will notice that the criteria I'm using is from the contents of the Bible. Reason number two.
No, if we're applying that to your
No. One second. If we can just follow it through. You see, you need to logically take it through. Now, I would say to you this. Yeah, reason number one, I'm using the Bible and the contents of the Bible and asking the relevant questions. I'm not saying, look, the Quran says X, therefore it should be Y. We agree on that, don't we? You introduce the Quran. You introduce the idea of, is there an explicit verse in the Quran? Which I said I can take up with you, no problem. However, having said that, I'm using reason number one, the contents of the Bible. Reason number two, I am then thereafter assessing the contents of the Bible to arrive at an understanding which we may agree with or which we may disagree with. But what you have done, sister, respectfully, is jumped the gun by associating the Quran and the criteria that you would use, which necessarily I never even mentioned. Okay, so what I would say to that is this. Okay, wait a minute. If you are going to use the Quran as a criteria, then let's look at the contents of the Quran and assess them accordingly, but not cross it the way you have. So what I would suggest, let's leave the Quran for 2 minutes. I'm just responding. I am saying, look, I am looking at the verse. I'm not even saying I'm excluding it. I am saying, look, can it have a multitude of interpretations? Yeah, possibly two. I am suggesting yes, it can. Why am I saying that? Again, I'm referring to the evidence itself. So the evidence says, and I was going to that, sister, according to that, he says, is it not written in your law? I said, you are gods.
Yeah, okay. Can I just respond?
I haven't finished.
Okay, finish your point.
Yeah?
But because, should we time it so that we know that we're talking exactly? Because I feel like you're talking a lot and you're not letting me.
Respectfully, I'm only doing that because you keep interjecting.
Yeah, but we can't have a monologue.
Okay.
We have to
Respectfully, when I was discussing with him, we were not having a problem.
No, but
we were not.
Okay.
You suddenly created a problem.
I didn't create a problem. We need to make a point. We need to.
Okay, go ahead. If I finish my point, you can make your point. How is that? Okay, my point is a simple one. When he said, I and my Father are one, he didn't make a claim to divinity. Why do I say that? Because when he is asked about why he was being stoned, he made it clear. He said, is it not written in your law? I said, you are gods. And if the word of God came to them, yeah, why do you find it a problem when he, the Son of God, says something? I suggest to you that the interpretation of John 10:30 should be taken in conjunction with John 17:21. He was not divine.
Right, okay. So responding to that, so going back to the exact words, criteria, and then I'll come back to this. The exact words, it doesn't, I'm saying that in your own criteria as a Muslim, you don't keep to the exact word because there's certain things you believe in. For example, you believe Jesus is the Messiah. There's nowhere in the Quran where Jesus says, I am the Messiah. The same way in the Bible, there's nowhere in the Bible where Jesus says, I am not God, don't worship me. So the exact word doesn't count, but you can go and look at what he's saying. What did the people around his time believe him to be saying? Then you can make a judgment from that. So if you look at John 10:30, it doesn't say, yes, it doesn't say, I am God, worship me, in those exact words, you know, but he's making the statement that I and my Father are one. What did the Jews understand that to mean? What did they do? What was their initial reaction? You see, they pick up stones to stone him. Stoning is a punishment for blasphemy. And if you carry on that verse, it goes on where he says, for which works are you stoning me on? But they said for blasphemy. So obviously blasphemy is when you're associating something to God that is not God. You know, where in the statement "I am the Father of one" is he associated? So they understood it to mean that Jesus, that you're not God, and you're associating yourself as God, and they stone him. So that's their understanding. You know, so why should I then? So do you see what I mean? So why should I then kind of? I don't see any other things.
I knew you were going to get lost because you hadn't thought it through. Okay, are you finished, sister?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Okay, right, let me go back to you. Very quickly, first dispense with what you said. You see, if you are going to use the Quran as a criteria, as I said earlier on, I would kindly suggest that you use the internal evidence to establish what you want to establish. As I am doing with the Bible, you will notice in our conversation, sorry, respectfully, in the conversation we've had, I have not mentioned the Quran once, nor have I mentioned its contents. What I was merely, you did, what I merely did, sister, was look at the contents in the Bible and the evidence in the Bible and assess it to establish whether it leads to proof, okay? So when the Quran says, when you say, well, the Quran doesn't say Jesus says he's the Messiah, well, the difference here is this, that what the Quran is saying from the Muslim perspective is a revelation from the Creator, a revelation in which there is a segment in which it talks about a particular prophet of God whose name was Jesus, according to the translation. Isa, his name was. What was Isa? It tells us. When was his pronunciation made? As the brother pointed out in Surah 19, where it says, Kala inni Abdullah, yes, I am a servant of God. It also tells us, if I can just finish. No. Look, sister, you see, again, in our conversation didn't say I'm looking for an explicit statement where Jesus said I am God or worship it. I said the conversation they were having, a brother asked that question. I had now 1 second, sister. That's not fair. Let me finish, sister. Now I merely said, and I will continue saying, if there is an absence of an explicit statement, yes, according to the Bible, and there is a statement which can be interpreted in more than one way, I'm saying an explicit statement is not present. However you want to garb the statement, I'm not really concerned with that. I am saying if there is no explicit statement, then we have a bit of a problem here. The problem is this, and I'm finishing. The problem is this, that if you tell me John 10:30 says I and my Father one, and it is claiming divinity of Christ, I am saying John 17:21 and 22 is claiming all of them to be divine. What's the difference?
So the difference is, what at that time when he was saying I and the Father are one, right? What was their reaction? And why did they accuse him for blasphemy?
They misunderstood.
So you agree that they understood him?
No, I said they misunderstood.
Right, so they misunderstood.
Yeah.
So are you saying that Jesus was not claiming to be God, but they thought he was claiming to be God? That's what you're saying. Okay, so you're admitting that they thought Jesus. So
I have no problem with that.
Yeah? Okay.
I have no problem.
Okay, that's great. So they thought he was God, but you're saying they misunderstood. So what is your evidence?
No. Sis, I said when he made the statement, I and my Father are one.
Basically, you agree with their stance, but you don't agree with Jesus' stance.
No, I'm not saying that. I am saying where he said, I and my Father are one. They picked up stones to stone him. This is what I was saying to you. Let me finish. They picked up stones to stone him. So he says to them, many a good works have I shown you from the Father, for which of the good works do you stone me? I even asked, I said, why is he associating their stoning with good works? Where in the whole of the Bible do they get stoned for saying about good works? Is there any evidence for that? I would suggest there isn't. Number one. Number two, more importantly, Christ is going through a narrative of good works, and careful about the misunderstanding here. Because when they picked up stones, and Christ Jesus says, many a good works have I shown you, it seems like Christ himself misunderstood what they were doing. Well, that shows his divinity out of the window, if you can see what I mean. Sorry? No, wait, I know you don't agree, but can I just finish?
No, listen. No, you're trying to confuse stuff.
No, respectfully, no. If you are finding it confusing, is the context of the Bible I'm referring to.
Okay, fine. Let me finish my response and then you can...
I never finished my...
No, you
Carry
finished
on.
yours so many times. You kept
Carry on, yeah.
The point is, you've agreed with me that the people at that